Well, hello and welcome to All My Art and Soul. I'm Michelle Holden, the mixed media artist behind the channel. And yes, that is my new intro. I love creating short videos, of course, and fooling around with different things. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope it isn't too long. It's one that I am loading up on Instagram, and because I am just entering a new phase, and you're entering with me, explore, play, and discover. So, if you are new here to my channel, welcome, and this is what we're going to do for the summer. So, as you can see, which was really strange today, and if you haven't seen my two previous videos I discovered coffee filters. And of course, I'm not going to just stick with coffee filters. They're just one of the many types of collage papers that I'm going to be using in different ratios, of course. And so as you can see here on the, and in those videos, I show you, and I'm just discovering what I can do with them. So there's way more to discover. So on the left, you see blue and just blue. And that was my intention. I've been locked into this just blue, and I can't seem to get there. I think I'm going to just have to wait till my time is off and I can just spend some time off camera and explore on my own. I can't wait. And then show you bits and pieces, and of course longer, and of course working on my course that I'm going to be creating, or starting to create it. It's going to be a free course in sometime in the fall. I don't know how soon. I hope I can get it done, but no, I'm going to get it done. And as you can see, this page was the next page from the page I was just exploring with to demonstrate with the coffee filters. And I intended to use blue, as I was just saying, but this one was just ready to go. I love the warm tone, and my one simple intention was to start with a high contrast, and that would be black and white. The reason being, so I can experiment with different kinds of collage papers with marks on them, of course. And I think I have a feeling of what other kind of marks I'm going to be making with on my papers besides stencil, and that's going to be organic gestural marks, we call them. And I'm going to be fooling around with the jelly plate. So this page is in horizontal areas. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the really light one on the top. And I like that going from dark to light, not all the time. And what attracted me to this piece of collage, it's tracing paper. And I think, yes, Posca marker. A wonderful mark making tool. It's very sharp edge though. It doesn't come across very organic, but it's very energetic depending on the amount of energy you're putting in your mark. But I really love its transparency. There's the transparency that I'm looking for to build up many layers, but all the layers won't be transparent, of course. Different areas, opacity, translucency, and then it's the playing with all of that. And I noticed that, well, because of my, I'm a very busy teacher and all of that, just sitting down and just getting to it is one thing I'm really looking forward to. And I hope you can carve out some time as well. So as you can see, strong contrast of black and white, or whatever dark and light you want to use. Then mix with some mid-tone, and that could have been blue as well. It'll look totally different in the end, but it'll have the same effects using similar techniques. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to practice a very thin layer of white. I want to practice light valued thin layers, not necessarily white, blue. So as you can see, I ditched the coffee filters of blue to my neutral ones. And these are the more complex ones. I don't know if I like them all. They have a very, what would you say, animal skin kind of pattern, you know, and they're very powerful. Not my kind of thing. This is just the thing you discover by exploring. And I thought, well, what if I put another layer of white over it to sort of calm down the high contrast with a stencil and the jelly plate printer? So I'll do that. But in the meantime, I wanted something warm and transparent to go on this page. So coffee filter paper has a very lovely fibrous edge once you tear it, as you can see. I hope you can see. And then what I'm doing here is, I know since I push those other marks back with the white, and then you're coming over them again with a stronger contrast. Now, maybe line wouldn't have been the best, but I'm just sort of experimenting, and just keep going. Just keep going. Now, because I want to see those marks underneath, but it didn't go there. It just didn't feel right. See, it's just too weighted. The weight needs to be closer to the bottom. And the scale is a little large, so I just trimmed it down a bit. It cuts really easily. And you might want a very sharp edge, depending on what you're doing. Liking that area, but then I trim it down. It's too wide. It's interfering with the composition. You see, now that's closer to the bottom, and then it still maintains the 5 areas. You've got dark, light, dark, mid, light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And that's a glass palette that I use on the side. The colors that I'm using that I took out are turquoise and light blue, but that's Naples yellow, the other one white and black. And I do bring out the nickel azo gold. And sometimes I just have a little scrap left, so I just put it on there. It just sort of using repetition, but in a different way. So we're always thinking differences. And I love the power of, or the strength and the high contrast of starting with black and white. So I'm going to experiment with different marks on white, mixed in with some subtlety too, and smaller pieces of collage paper. I have rice paper I'm going to try, and tracing paper. No, not tracing paper, tissue paper. I have the tracing paper. It's very delicate, but I think it'll work. So I thought, I was remembering all the drips and everything that I was doing on my canvases before I really got into this art journaling. And that's the thing, we're going back. You're going to come with me on this journey to finally dedicating some time. I have a lot of canvases to cover this summer. And I'll just show snapshots, or if it's working well, I'll just throw on the camera and have a long painting session, and you can watch my process. So that's coming up very soon. So using the hairdryer, and of course very liquidy because of the fine spray, and that was an eyeglass cleaner bottle. Oh, excuse me. Now, I just wanted to put a little row across, sort of a transition between the white, that's stark white, and the warm white at the top. In hindsight, which is so wonderful, I think I might want to use something with larger negative space, so that not so much of that area gets covered with paint. There's more empty spaces, like not you covered with the stencil. So it's a little thick, and I've just been using a brush. Just lifted it there slightly with the brayer. And I hope if you're new here, welcome, and this whole new phase of explore, play, and discover. I'm going to be showing up a lot more on Instagram with very short little, what do we call them? The reels, and see if we can get some stuff going, and that'll bring people to my YouTube channel, and then we're going to go from my YouTube channel to other things. Also my Facebook group, I'll be able to dedicate more time to this new phase and just give you some tips and tricks as I learn them as well. But it's really interesting when you, I have I have a few series that I want to do, but this main one, explore, play, discover, is one that I've been wanting to do for a long time. So it's being a priority. And of course, the work that turns out will be mostly on wooden panel and larger canvases. So that's my bridge symbolism that I love to use. I always look for some old books, old black and white photos of bridges. This is like a diagram, and I love the old faded paper from the old books, as I've said before. Where do you get your old stuff? Ephemera, I don't even know how to say that word, but you know what I mean. I know Etsy is a big thing. Oh yeah, I ordered some tea bag paper from Etsy. It wasn't a local Etsy, as it turned out. It was from Great Britain, I guess. Anyway, the deal was good. A little bit of a shipping cost, but you know, I want to experiment with that. But that will have to wait. So you see that little action that happened? There was a black dot there. I didn't like it, so I put a white dot instead, because it related to the paint around it, or the value. Now this negative space has been bugging me. That would have looked cool there, now that I see it. But I probably didn't want to do it, because I've been doing that a lot, and I want to do something different. So I want to get away from that, and that's why I can't wait to just let go and paint. And I've got a couple of really big canvases. Hopefully we'll get to them. And if you are here as a regular subscriber, hello. And I know some of you really comment regularly. Thank you so much for your comments. I do read every one of them. I may not get back right away, but usually, and I will be able to now. And you can see this piece of text, how much darker it is, because it's more of a newsprint, and all the different kinds of papers that books are made out of. It's so cool. Wonderful neutrals. That's Naples yellow. And I could have lightened it, but you know what? This isn't bad. See, so now I'm putting a layer of, which is a small amount, opaque paint. And then I scrape through it just to lighten it up a bit, so you can see some of the stuff underneath. That little piece there is tracing paper. No, coffee filter paper again. And I'm really liking it. I think I like it in small amounts rather than large amounts. But once I order my ink, which is very bright colors, and I want to use mostly coffee filter paper with marks and paint and all of that on a wooden panel, that's a little series that's coming along with this, Explore, Play, and Discover. Something totally different, very bright colors. And we'll see what those water-soluble acrylic inks do with the coffee filter paper. And it's pretty cool. So I love my circles. They needed to go there, so I put them there. And I love how they push back the black layer and how I faded those lines with the color shaper and the white, titanium white. So I always put the list of paints and of course the coffee filter paper, and do try it. It's just so inexpensive. It's just the cheap white coffee filters, and of course I could use coffee to stain them and all sorts of things, but I like using them mostly for marks, and I'll do a whole bunch just with black and white and maybe black and white stencil. So now, instead of putting the coffee filter paper over a black and white contrast, I'll be doing the opposite. And so as you can see, you see how it melts right in when you add the medium to it? It is so cool. This is a metallic, and I don't remember. Oh no, it is Liquitex. It's just a small tube of metallic copper, and it is so cool. And this page, or this collage page, was made on the jelly plate printer, ochre, raw umber, and then that copper. Really cool combination. So it had the same dark value, so I felt it needed to go closer to it. And this is a metallic acrylic ink that which is same value, but sparkly, different, and it really is nice. I should have shown it, like move the page around a bit, but it's really, really neat. Love it. And we're coming up to the end because I really don't want to do any more. I think it says that it is finished. Oh, except for just pushing back a little bit on the drawings, the book pages. And I like that. Now, I did not want to cut, that covered the copper shiny bit. So now the white, that copper piece shows up more because that's going behind. So there's a whole interweaving kind of thing you can do. So if you're really liking this content, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe as I continue to grow my channel and expand my techniques and grow and evolve as an artist. And here we are. Now, of course, that was the outer one, and I don't know if it tore a little bit. So it just needed a little more heat, and then I go up the other direction, and it was fine. So I just put a little medium on it, and that little piece that tore went right back in its place, which I like. And please, yeah, there it is, see? And then I just use my brush. As you can see, my heavy gel medium is getting low. I have to see if I need to get another jar when I go to my art store tomorrow. So totally enjoyed this. And this is just so it took me under an hour. And of course I sped this up to be twice as fast. So it's about a 20-minute video. And it's just nice to watch. I hope you try some coffee filter papers. I'm going to experiment to see what else I can do with them. And don't forget to hop on over to the Facebook group, hop on over to my shop, my website, and all of that is going to be changing and evolving this summer. Can't wait. And I will see you in the next video.